Last week in San Diego, we had the best 250 race of the season.
Chad Reed is only about 2.5 to 3 seconds down from Ricky Carmichael. Ricky Carmichael is set to pass Kevin Windham in 5th, and he has to slow down. Windham takes a look over. He gets back into it, but Chad Reed is close that, which is Chad Reed now down by less than 2 seconds. When they come around this next time, the white flag will be out. This is the 250 main from San Diego. Can Chad Reed get a run on him here in the woods? The white flag is out. It's the final lap of the 250 main. Quite possibly the closest race. Look at this. Chad Reed only 10 feet down. Oh, and Ricky Carmichael keeps the momentum in the woods. But now remember, these next two riders ahead of him are 3rd and 4th place. You've got to be kidding me. They're not going to be letting someone go by that easily. They're trying to work around the lap with tight. Reed gets it tight, shows him a wheel, and Reed gets the lead. So Ricky's got half a lap to get around the lap right up and Chad Reed, and it's Chad Reed who goes to the front. Chad Reed brings it down to the woods. Ricky's got a great drive. Oh, Carmichael's down. Carmichael throws it down, pushing too hard. Chad Reed brings it around. The checkered flag in the wind. Chad Reed, your winner in San Diego. And what does that do for the title?
Don't move. 250 Supercross from Atlanta, Georgia is now. Welcome to the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, Georgia for the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. And we welcome you back to Atlanta for our second hour of Supercross racing here on ESPN2. Cameron, we talked about at the top of the 125 show, the past, the 250 main last week, an epic battle.
Such a great race. I mean, so many things going on, and Chad and Ricky getting to it. And the news this week, the top 3 riders of practice are all within 1 second. Ricky, Chad, and Kevin are 3 winners on the year so far.
Well, in this week's Suzuki strategy, we had a chance to sit down Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael, and here's what they thought about last week's action.
The whole race, it was kind of a weird race. I was terrible at the start. He was kind of to the front right away, and you know, I never really felt like I was catching him in leaps and bounds.
Mainly, I was just getting lap times, and you know, I could see that. You know, when I would get held up, I could see Chad was making a lot of time up on me.
At this point, I'm just giving it all I had. You know, he's right there. I felt that, you know, I was just trying to be consistent in the woods, try to capitalize on the mistake I think he had.
Chad Reed only 10 feet down. Oh, and Ricky Carmichael keeps the momentum in the whoop. But now remember, these next 2 riders ahead of him are 3rd and 4th place. You've got to be kidding me. They're not going to be letting someone go by that easily. They're trying to work around the lap with tight. Reed gets it tight, shows him a wheel, and Reed gets the lead.
Where Chad got by me, I was like, well, I can either go inside, and he's going to go outside and jump past me like we were doing, the only 2 guys doing the rhythm lane, or I can go outside and take a chance and try to jump, and hopefully he won't get on the inside, but he did.
And, right there, Ricky kind of hesitated. I could be doing right there. I guess from that point, the race is, you know, just to the point where I had to make no mistakes. I felt like I had the woods covered. And
this is the only place I have a chance to win, so I'm going to give it my all, or I'm going to crash trying. And got a good drive coming out of the turn. I was behind Chad, and I just, you know, couldn't really see because I was right on his tail, and fell down. You know, I think I just missed a hoop or spun out or whatever it was. I really don't know how it happened. I just know I was on the ground, but at that point I had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
The checkered flag in the wind. Chad Reed, your winner in San Diego.
handed me the win, got the first win of the 2005 season. It felt good. You can see there that it's, I was excited. I was real pumped. He's a true champ. You know, he, when he gets beat, he knows he got beat. And right here, I asked him, "Hey man, did I take you out over there?" He says, "No, no." So it was kind of, it was fun. He told me what happened. It was a great race.
It was a memorable night last week in San Diego. Indeed, as we take a look at our point standings, first the THQ World Supercross GP. It's Carmichael, LaRocco, and Voss on top. And then the THQ AMA side, again, Ricky Carmichael is your leader, but Chad Reed starting to creep in by virtue of that victory last week in San Diego, California. Right now, it's time for Cameron Steele to take us around the track here in Georgia for this MX versus ATV Unleashed track map.
Well, first thing you're going to want to do if you're racing Supercross here in Atlanta is get a good jump out of the gate, because the long straight is frightening. You're going to want to get to the inside and protect your line, because there is no berm to rail around on the outside. Coming into the triple jump, it will be no problem whatsoever. A left-hand turn, though, could be kind of tricky, as it is either or in that section. Cross the starting area twice and then into what we call the rhythm section. You can triple in a many different areas there, starting, middle, or end. Skim the whoops, they'll be doing it all night long. Just don't drop a wheel down into them. That could be disastrous with that step out at the end. And then the triple jump just before your finish line jump. Air it out over the finish, throw the whip, and that is your track map.
As we get a good look at the Georgia Dome, thank you very much, Cameron, for taking us through that. A near-capacity crowd as we take a look at our MX versus ATV Unleashed track back. Real important notice there, over 300-foot-long start. So the bikes, their gear setup is going to be huge. There you see the length of the track and the dirt and what's been done to it. As we take a look at our starting grid, it is Chad Reed and Mike LaRocco. Chad Reed coming up a huge victory last week in San Diego. Also, we want to point out that Mike LaRocco was on that podium as well. And Cameron, the Rock just does not want to go away. At 33 years of age, he has been on a tear, and it's consistent to say the least, as the 32nd board goes sideways. 250 heat number 1 from Atlanta. Look at Travis Preston shoot out of there, number 70. His mechanic, Sean Ulikowski, must have done something, because Preston grabs the whole shot.
Well, Preston grabbed some dirt earlier in the day in practice, crashing in the whoops, and you're looking at the helmet cam shot from JT there.
Jason Thomas, number 33, the Subway Honda rider, running the helmet cam this week for us in the 250 class. But I got to give it up for Travis Preston. Here's a guy who basically was off the bike for 8 months. And look at him now, and Andrew Short tucking in behind him.
Andrew Short, a rider that's riding on the 125 West Coast Series, getting his first experience here this year on the 250s. He does have a top 5 finish in a Supercross in the 250s, though, however, from last year.
Not to panic anyone, but right now, Chad Reed is not in a transfer position. This is 250 heat number 1. We are going 8 laps. Travis Preston leads them into the green flag lap. It is Preston, Short, Mike LaRocco, and Sebastian Tortelli, your top 4, excuse me.
I like that. Nice catch, Todd.
I was going, wait a second, Chad's not in there. It's top 4 with Chad Reed now sitting in 5th place. So Preston brings it around one more time. Andrew Short making a nice transition up to the 250 class. Mike LaRocco always there. Sebastian Tortelli. Is this the weekend he puts it on? But here comes Chad Reed.
See if Reed can make the move on the inside. He has the line on Tortelli, and he takes it. You're talking about LaRocco. He's had 80 podiums now in his career. 214 start here tonight.
Mike LaRocco just makes a pass on Andrew Short, so it's Preston, LaRocco, Short, and Reed, and that is the top 4 in 250 heat number 1.
We got quite a freight train going on there.
No question. I'm just glad I don't have to say 5 again. I messed that up. Oh, we got a rider down right in front of Chad Reed.
So Short's down, Reed's down,
Tim Ferry goes down.
Tortelli's involved.
So Andrew Short was the first one that goes down. Chad Reed had nowhere to stop, and then he took down the righty behind him.
That looks like a real-life yard sale there. Bikes everywhere.
Well, Chad had such a big lead. He gets on his bike, remounts. He's back into that number that I'm having a hard time saying, 5. Chad Reed back in 5th place right now, behind number 56, but he's moving up now. He gets by Isaiah Johnson. So Chad Reed now back, despite that fall, Cameron, he is back in a transfer position. Well, can you imagine if that was back in the main? If we look at this one more time. There's Preston making the turn, bobbles it slightly.
Short tries to come inside tight on LaRocco, and maybe because they're both riding Hondas, he decides not to give him a little checkup, or maybe just because he's Iron Mike LaRocco. And then you see riders grabbing some throttle there, bikes flying around.
So right now it's Chad Reed right behind Ernesto Fonseca. Reed in a qualifying position. We'll see if he can keep it rubber side down when we come back. Get ready. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. There's Chad Reed on the move again, and while we were away, he slid back, Cameron, almost back to 6th, 7th place. He has since moved back up, so it is Chad Reed now sitting in 4th place with number 38 right behind him.
And Reed going into that mix, throwing his bike away and able to come back. Had a good pass on Ernesto Fonseca while we were away, but Ernesto did not want to give up that line.
So Chad Reed now in 4th place in a qualifying position. And he has now moved into 3rd place. So it's Reed in 3rd. Travis Preston is in 1st, and Mike LaRocco behind him. We'll focus on this one momentarily, Cameron. Travis Preston got the whole shot and has led throughout with Mike LaRocco sitting in 2nd place.
Well, I'm curious to see. I mean, Mike LaRocco is one of the best, most fit guys on the circuit. Travis Preston, as we said, coming back from injury. Now we're getting into the final laps of Heath. Will Preston be, winded a little bit? LaRocco, I would think, should be able to come up and snipe him.
Right now it is Preston, and there you see the interval between him and Mike LaRocco. This is 250 heat number 1. We are taking the top 4 to the main event. It's an 8-lap race, and right now it is Travis Preston out in front. There you see his lap time. Honda rider number 70 behind him. Another Honda. Number 5 is Mike LaRocco, currently sitting in 2nd place. The Rock coming up a big podium last week in San Diego. White flag is out. It's the final lap. Can Preston hold off LaRocco and get the victory here in 250 heat number 1?
Well, let's see if Mike LaRocco can find a way to get around him. It looks like Preston's stretching him a little bit, getting on the gas out of the corners. Then LaRocco seems to pull up in the rhythm section. So
Travis Preston out in front. His mechanic, Sean Ulikowski, doing a great job. As Cameron's pointed out, he is coming off a broken collarbone. Really, I talked to Sean today, and he said, here's a guy who hasn't been on the bike competitively for 8 months. And Travis said, it's not the fitness, it's not the skills, it's the timing. He says, the timing these guys race at, when I got out here the first time, he said it was almost like mental overload. I was like, I just can't keep up mentally with what's going on, but gradually says it's coming back to him. But right now, Cameron, this is huge for him, especially if he can hold off Mike LaRocco and pick up the win here at 250 heat 1.
Only 2 sections left to go. We'll see if maybe LaRocco will just stay back and hold on to that 2nd place. I mean, it's only for gate pick here.
He gets it. Preston, your winner, followed by LaRocco, and Chad Reed tucks into 3rd place. But for Chad Reed, it could have been a disastrous night. And Preston's looking back and going, are you kidding me? I held up LaRocco and Reed. Well done, Travis Preston. So your official results, 250, heat number 1, look like this. It's Preston, LaRocco, Reed, and Ernesto Fonseca all moving on to the main event. Let's go down to the track and Jamie Little.
Well, Todd, this is a big night for Travis Preston. We welcome him back to the podium. He won the semi last week, but now this is his first heat race win. Travis, I know every week you're getting a little stronger. You've had some physical issues. What's the difference? You just held off some big boys.
Well, the difference is, like always, people crashed, and my bike's so fast, I just hold on to it, and the bike got me a good start, and then I just blocked Mike.
You're doing more than riding that thing. Take us through it, Travis.
Well, I mean, there's not much to it. I just got the start, and then I just rode around like I always do, and I don't know, Chad crashed, and I don't know what Mike was doing, so that was it.
So it's all the bike, you're saying?
Exactly.
All right, there's Travis Preston for you. We love having him back on the podium. Todd?
250, heat number 2, getting ready on the line. Here's how you make it to the main event in Atlanta, Georgia. We got 2 heats, 8 transfer. Then we go to the semis, where 10 transfer. That gives you 18. And then it's the race of desperation, the LCQ. We put, 22 riders on the line, Cameron, say 2 of you get to move on. Everyone else, you're done. As we take a look at our starting grid here for 250 heat number 2. Wow, this one's loaded. Pick your poison. It's Carmichael, Wyndham, David Billman, also Michael Byrne, who's been getting some great starts. Tyler Evans is also in there. Wow, I tell you what, Ricky, welcome back to heat racing.
Well, Ricky Carmichael losing the main event last week in San Diego on the last lap, throwing out some desperation. He said, I knew I had nothing to lose. I just went for it in the whoops. And he had something to prove in practice today. He was on fire.
There's David Billman getting set to go. Billman has looked very smooth last few weeks. David Billman has shown us something, especially the way he's been able to finish races. Last week, finishing 4th place in the main event. And there's the man, quite possibly, who needs the biggest result. Kevin Wyndham needs to turn this thing around. He's been consistent, Cameron, but he needs a victory.
Watch how fast Kevin Wyndham goes in the whoops.
250, heat number 2 from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. Carmichael, Windham, and Villeman all in this heat. Look at Villeman. Carmichael shoots to the outside. Can he hold his line? Windham's on the inside. It's Carmichael who shoots out first. And Heath Voss also out to the side.
And remember, just a couple short years ago, Kevin Windham breaking his femur at this track. It nearly ended his career, but he has come back with a vengeance.
Ricky Carmichael out in front. Kevin Windham sits in second. Heath Voss in third. And then the 12 bike of David Villeman. Jeremy McGrath also in there. Can't forget the King. He currently sits in 5th place. Now, for McGrath to get in the main event without going to a semi, he's going to need to get around either Villeman, Voss, or Windham. I don't know if he's got the speed to catch Ricky Carmichael tonight, but I talked to MC earlier tonight. He said, I just want to keep momentum. He wasn't initially going to race here, Cameron. And he said, you know, after last week's performance in San Diego felt so good, I want to keep the momentum going. Kevin Windham getting a little swirly right there, trying to stay with and doing so, running with Ricky Carmichael, your leader, in 250 heat number 2. Carmichael and Windham going 1 and 2.
And Ricky Carmichael has won here 3 different times in the 250 class. Jeremy McGrath, 5 times.
So MC certainly having some experience here, but Carmichael looks so very fast in practice. He and Chad Reed really out in front. As you mentioned at the top of the show, Kevin Windham also the 3rd fastest practice time. And look at this. Windham working the whoops and actually staying with Carmichael and reeling him in.
Watching the whoops all day, he has really been charging, able to keep his momentum, and look at this.
Villeman and Voss, and Villeman gets the pass on Heath Voss, so the 12 bike of David Villeman moves out in front. He sits in 3rd. Heath Voss, the defending and reigning THQ World Supercross GP champion, sits in 4th, which is a transfer position, but he has got number 2, Jeremy McGrath, breathing down his back as well.
I was asking David about last week when Ricky and Chad came around to try to put him a lap down. I was like, what were you thinking when you saw that? He's just like, I think he was just disgusted. I don't think we'll see that again.
Heath Voss, number 13, currently sits in 4th place. Number 12 is David Villeman, just ahead of him. That is 3rd. Carmichael's out in front with Windham in 2nd place. And these two have a nice little battle going. But don't forget, Jeremy McGrath starting to creep up. There he is, McGrath coming in. And Cameron, he is crafty enough. Maybe not the same speed he had when he was winning those 5 consistent events here in Atlanta, but McGrath will find a line to get in there.
He's looked good in practice, and there's the rhythm section in there. The riders are taking different lines in, and Jeremy sliding around one of those flat corners, and he didn't get his final double jump there, the finish line jump.
The tacky Georgia red clay not grabbing enough. We'll come back and find out if Jeremy McGrath can qualify for the main event. 250 heat number 2 continues after this. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. It's 250 heat number 2, and no changes during the commercial break. Ricky Carmichael continues to lead with Kevin Windham sitting in 2nd, David Villeman in 3rd, and Heath Voss in 4th. But Ricky Carmichael, Cameron, we talked about his rough riding style, how the bike bucks him around, but he's such a master of keeping the bike in smooth momentum, and always, as Jeff Stanton would say, keeping the bike in forward momentum.
You saw him have a little bit of a problem there. You saw him dragging the foot, and it looked like he missed the obstacle he was going for, but the thing about Ricky is some riders will take a whole section to get back in their rhythm. Ricky's back in his rhythm on the next obstacle.
So Carmichael goes through the start finish one more time, and we'll slide back and get you a look at just how far he is ahead of Kevin Windham. There's Kevin Windham, number 14, the AMSOIL Chaparral Honda coming into view. Windham got a good start, but was unable to stay in contact with Ricky Carmichael. But right now, Cameron, he's only about 50 yards behind Carmichael, so this could possibly buoy him up confidence-wise as he gets ready for the main event.
And Kevin says he is in good health. You see him sliding a little bit, both front and rear wheel going into that corner. He says the right leg isn't bothering him like it was. The sciatic nerve seems to be all good. So that's that triple in the center there. You see him getting that.
So Kevin Windham maintains 2nd place as we slide back here in 250 heat number 2. It's an 8-second difference. And there you see the gap for 3rd place. That is David Villeman, originally from France, now living in California, on board the Yamaha. The number 12 rider is doing a great job right now, getting past Heath Voss, who just comes into view there. So Villeman currently in 3rd, Voss holding on the 4th and final transfer position. And Jeremy McGrath, who was battling for Voss a little bit as the white flag comes out, our final lap here in 250 heat number 2. Unfortunately, Jeremy McGrath has faded quite a bit off the back of Heath Voss.
Well, Voss has been a rider that has been just consistently charging, working hard, and always going for it. He's a rider that now believes he's earned that factory bike. He is in the mix. Yes, he is a champion, but sometimes you just got to have that breakthrough. And he really looks like he's had it. He wants to race with no matter who is on the track, in practice or during race time. In practice, he jumps right in with whoever's out there, the big guys.
Ricky Carmichael, one more turn, has to deal with a lap rider. How ironic. Your winner, 250 heat number 2. Ricky Carmichael gets the victory. Had some fast lap times, Cameron. His best time was a 51.3. So we have set up a great main event with Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael both turning fast heat times. And your results, 250 heat number 2 look like this. RC, Ricky Carmichael gets the victory. Kevin Windham checks in at second. Then Villeman and Heath Voss, your top 4. They move on automatically to the main. For Jeremy McGrath, he will go on to the semifinals and try to qualify for the main event. Right now, let's check into the podium. That's where Jamie Little's standing by with Ricky Carmichael.
Well, Todd, Ricky Carmichael's heat was 20 seconds faster than heat number 1. Unbelievable. Ricky, last week after the race, you told us, I have some things I need to go back and work on. What in the world could you get better on, and did you do it this week?
You know, it was a lot easier after getting beat to go and go to work on Monday. So, you know, we worked hard and just trying to be a little more perfect and eliminate the mistakes in some areas that I had mistakes on last week, and really glad to be here in my hometown this weekend, too.
So what'd you do, hire some riders so you can practice lapping?
I definitely had some guys out there in front of me this week, and it was good. We had a really good week of riding, and, you know, I just want to go out there and have fun and try to get this thing up top again.
All right, Ricky Carmichael, all his friends and family are in the house, 180 of them. Todd?
Well, Jamie, those 180 fans also treated to some great qualifying actions. We get a look at our 250 qualifying results. The GameStop 250 Semi-1s look like this. Tim Ferry on top of the podium. The Thor 250 Semi-2 results, it's Michael Byrne. And the Samsung Wireless 250 LCQ results, Tortelli and Ayla moving on. They have proved they're all in. Last weekend, Chad Reed steered Ricky Carmichael down and raised the stakes.
I'm all in.
The road to Las Vegas goes through the Georgia Dome.
I'm all in, Don.
Reed and Carmichael go at it again. The main event is next. Don't go away. We are back in Atlanta, Georgia on a picture-perfect night. The ring symbolizing the 1996 Summer Olympic Games that took place here. But tonight it is all about Supercross as we go indoors, the Georgia Dome. Todd Harris along with Cameron Steele and Jamie Little as we get set for the 250 main event. And the fans have turned out, maybe not quite as big as the Olympics, Cameron, but 62,764 inside the Georgia Dome tonight. As we take a look at our starting grid, the Suzuki starting grid, Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, they had a classic battle last week in San Diego. Will it happen again? Travis Preston with a tremendous performance. Also, Kevin Windham, as Cameron pointed out, third fastest practice time today. And the rest of the players taking part in tonight's 250 main event. And there it is, the quad split of the 250. The goggles are on. McGrath in the top left, Carmichael top right. There's Chad Reed, bottom right, and Mike LaRocco in the bottom left. Running our helmet cam tonight, not Ricky Carmichael. Tonight it's going to be Jason Thomas. We thank him for getting it here to the main event, the Subway Honda rider, number 33. Before we drop the gate, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Guys, Ricky Carmichael's going to participate in a charity ride with the DMX Best crew tomorrow. Now, is this support coming to see from LA? You see it right there, guys.
250 main event from Atlanta, off and running. Fonseca gets a great ride, but Chad Reed out in front. Can he hold the line? Carmichael just to his left. It's Chad Reed who picks up the Butterfinger Chris HOLESHOT Award. Carmichael's got a great drive as they both hit the triple. Oh my.
Carmichael had the inside line, played a little safe. Look at Chad going in to protect. Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed out front. This is the battle we were waiting for.
Well, Chad Reed had an incident, remember, Cameron, back in Anaheim where he led a few laps and then he just opened the
door wide open for Ricky and let him through. I don't think that's going to happen this week. After that huge performance in San Diego, Ricky having a few bobbles there for the whoop section. It's Chad who gets through cleaner.
Well, what we have to do is let's watch the lines where the riders, where these two guys, someone is faster in one spot, someone's faster in the other, see where they play cat and mouse a little bit, see if there's an open line. I expect if Ricky has a line, he will shove the wheel in right away on Chad.
Your leader, Chad Reed, number 22, on board the Yamaha. Behind him, number 4, Ricky Carmichael, the current points leader, sits in second, and Kevin Windham, number 14, on board the Honda, currently sitting in third, but all eyes are out in front. Chad Reed has the lead as he comes through, and watch Ricky Carmichael this time. I watched him in practice, Cameron, down this next corner, and he was really protecting the inside. Maybe he learned his lesson from last week in San Diego. Look how hot he comes into it that time.
And Ricky electing to jump into the whoops where Chad went in, skimming. Interesting, because I watched Ricky in practice, and when he was skimming, he was coming out of his line just a little bit. So maybe he's electing a different area. Oh, look into the inside.
Wheel. Chad Reed takes a look over quickly, sees exactly where Ricky is, and he knows he's going to be there all night long. Reed that time pulls away, gets a good drive out of the corner, but Carmichael answers. Oh, Cameron, this is phenomenal. Lap 3 of 20, and I have a feeling this is going to be a long, drawn-out race as Chad and Ricky have pulled away from third place, Kevin Windham.
And the track has gotten beaten up. Look at Ricky going to the inside once again. Seems to favor that, but they're both getting this triple here. I think Chad's carrying more speed going through that section.
I think you're right. Now, here's the whoop section. Chad has been cleaner, blitzing it. Ricky's been skimming him. That time it's pretty much equal, and Chad comes out in front again.
Everybody's always said that Chad Reed has the advantage in the whoops. If Ricky can eliminate that advantage, which he has done for the most part this year so far, he can be the player. He just can't let Chad get away in those technical whoops. Today they are. A lot of people dropping down into him. They're sharp faces they're going into.
This is not only a battle between Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael. This is a battle between Yamaha and Suzuki, the two superstars of the sports right now, all the way down to their mechanics. Chad Reed with Darren Sorensen and Ricky Carmichael with Mr. Gosler. Once again, Carmichael likes that inside line, but Chad has the drive out. Reed showing him another wheel.
And Chad, the winner here last year at this event, Ricky Carmichael the 3 years before that.
Well, we talk about the mechanics, Cameron, and Darren Sorensen working with Chad Reed and Mike Gosler working with Ricky Carmichael, both guys who know how to put together a great setup. And tonight, it looks like they've got the bike dialed in. And that time, Ricky gets a better drive out of the corner, showing Chad a line. He gets to the inside. Ricky shoves him to the outside. Reed gets pushed out, and Carmichael takes over the lead.
Brilliant riding by Ricky Carmichael. Not only does he get the inside, but then he starts to press out on Chad and takes him wide so Chad can't get in that line. Oh, Ricky almost watching the front end.
So it's Carmichael, your leader, Chad Reed, and Reed elects to the outside where he got a lot of spring, gets a good slingshot in there. Ricky maintaining about a 2-bike length. Here's the whoop section. Will it tell the tale tonight? Carmichael gets through cleanly. Chad Reed does so as well.
And you saw Ricky when he went through that whoop section. He elected to jump in again. He disappeared so deep into those whoops.
As we catch our breath, Ricky Carmichael comes through one more time. It's Reed now sitting in second place. Carmichael in first, and here's the pass, Cameron. And Ricky's gone down. Gone down. On that corner, Ricky just dumped it out. He washed out the front tire, and Chad Reed flew right past him, as did Kevin Windham.
So now Ricky with a huge battle ahead of him, because not only was Chad at his speed and in the game, Kevin Windham is now a heavy obstacle to get through.
Here it is again. Watch Ricky as he goes up high. Watch the front, just washes out.
Just starts to turn and wedges, and that loose dirt that we've talked about, Todd, you pointed it out. Sitting on top, no matter how much water they put on, it looks like you can't get the drive and stick the front tire in so many of the corners.
Chad Reed is your leader. Ricky Carmichael now having his own private battle with number 14, Kevin Windham, and I guarantee Windham's not going to be easy to pass. Look at that. Shoulder to shoulder, and Carmichael takes the lead. Wills himself past Kevin Windham, and I don't think that's going to sit too well with number 14. So Carmichael Carmichael sits in second. Reed 100 yards out in front. Kevin Windham back in third and very grumpy. We'll step aside, take a quick break. We promise you we'll be back to Atlanta, Georgia. It's the 250 main. Can Ricky Carmichael reel Chad Reed back in? Come back and find out.
ARCD, the outside line.
Welcome back to Georgia in the Georgia Dome. It's the 250 main event. And thankfully, while we're away, nothing major happened. Chad Reed continues to lead. He is out in front. Ricky Carmichael sits in second, pulling away from Kevin Windham. And now he is reeling Chad Reed. What was 100 yards, Cameron, it's now down to about 50 yards as we go back to see where it all started in the Butterfinger, hole shot replay as Chad comes through the woods.
Well, with such a long starting straight, it's really key to hold the throttle on a long time, but still drop in and protect that line. And you see Chad stays down and earns that Butterfinger crisp hole shot. Let's take a look at it again. You see him coming across, clearly had the shot. Ernesto Fonseca actually in the mix as well there with Ricky Carmichael.
So those are your Butterfinger crisp results on the hole shot award going to Chad Reed. Reed, Cameron, in between left, has turned some consistent time. He just dipped under 52 for the first time at a 51.8, but Ricky is running a 51.4. So you do the math, we're not even halfway through. Is that enough time for Ricky to reel Chad in, or is he going to need Chad Reed to make a mistake?
Well, I think it's enough time. If Ricky's really on his A game, if Chad makes a mistake, obviously it makes it easier for him. But at this point, watching Chad ride, I would think that he is going to have a mistake here. Chad has been flawless all night.
Chad Reed, one of the smoothest riders on the planet. The interval is coming down, and Ricky Carmichael is closing in. This time, he's got it down, folks, to an unbelievable 5 seconds. That is what he's behind Chad Reed. And Chad Reed continues, as Cameron Steele points out, extremely smoothly, not making mistakes, not pressing. It was Carmichael who just 4 laps ago went into a corner and washed out as we go back to the battle for 4th place. And this is Fonseca, Byrne, LaRocco, and Tortelli all mixed into this one as Chad Reed continues to lead. Great riding by number 24, Ernesto Fonseca, has a new representative now in Tony Gardia, who's a great guy in the sport. He'll do wonders with Ernesto, but Ernesto Cameron has always been such a consistent rider. He needs a breakout race tonight, and getting on the podium would be huge for him.
Oh, definitely. I mean, getting on the podium is very important to all the riders. And, you know, when I talked about Chad being flawless and talking about here in the main event, we know he had his problems in his heat race, but he has looked spot on here in the main event.
Ricky Carmichael's now got the lead down to 4 seconds as we continue to watch Michael Byrne going around. Byrne currently sitting in 5th place, trying to track down Ernesto Fonseca, who sits in 4th place. And Ricky Carmichael's lap time, just to keep you abreast of it, is a 51.2. Chad Reed's last one, a 52.3. There's Ernesto Fonseca on the left side of your screen, number 24 on board the Honda. Number 26 is Michael Byrne now coming into view. This is the battle for 4th place. Fonseca, as we go back, Fonseca right there, great, drops the wheel in the rut. Lap riders let him go by, but Michael Byrne, Cameron, maybe one of the fastest riders on the track, unable to get a good start, but he is extremely fast.
And he's so good with the obstacles. He has just been going completely nuts when they're going out to practice. He has been leading the charge for big jumps.
So Chad Reed now has to deal with what Ricky does, and Michael Byrne just went down in the whoop section a moment ago. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him going through that whoops camera. He just got on it and just could not control the front end, dropped it. We'll find out how he's doing, but he went down extremely hard, similar to what Jeremy McGrath did in Anaheim. This is Chad Reed. He is your leader. Last lap time, there you saw it, a 52.1. Ricky Carmichael is slowly reeling him in. Now we will find out how Chad Reed rides, because he's got to go to this section, Cam, where the yellow flags are out.
Not only that, but we talked about lappers last week. Right now, Chad has about 5 solid lappers right in front of him. We're talking good riders, too. Keith Johnson is in there. Ryan Clark is in there.
Unbelievable traffic ahead of him. Chad Reed gets around 2 riders, so does Ricky Carmichael. On last count, Ricky Carmichael had the lead down to 2 seconds. So he has used those lap riders to his advantage, much like Chad did in San Diego last weekend, and Carmichael is coming in fast. Chad gets into the lap riders once again. He is right now behind number 55, Joe Aloff. It's slowing down, and here comes Carmichael once again. Oh, my. Carmichael's got this thing down to a 1 second. We've got to step aside, folks. I hate to do it. We're going to pay some bills when we come back. The battle's getting too close. Pull the plug in the commercial. We're sticking with it. Here comes Carmichael.
And Carmichael pushing so hard in that section, you saw him wedge just a bit.
Chad Reed takes it. He goes through. Ricky Carmichael closed in. We'll come back quickly. We'll show the battle as soon as we get back to Atlanta.
Stay focused.
Welcome back to Atlanta. No passes while we're away, but Ricky Carmichael is one bike length down, and he has been showing Chad Reed wheel. Here is the corner camera where it seems that Chad gains it, and then Ricky seems to get it all back.
He does, and let's watch the techniques and the looks. See what Ricky elects to jump in, and he's able to carry the speed.
There you see the intervals. He has trimmed 2 seconds in 4 laps. Now the lap situation is Tim Ferry and Tyler Evans just ahead of him. Unfortunately, they're just ahead of Chad Reed, so it's going to slow him down. Plays to the advantage of Carmichael. Do they move over quickly and let these guys resume the battle? Tyler Evans does just that. But look at Carmichael. He is all over the back of Chad Reed.
And you saw Chad sliding just a little bit going into the face of that finish line jump. That's the second lap in a row that he's done that. He's got to keep his traction and forward momentum. Obviously, doesn't want to give Ricky any chance to dive underneath.
Well, you talked about how demoralizing this would be for Chad if he loses this race to Ricky. Ricky setting him up one more time. Carmichael dives down, has the line momentarily, but Chad comes right back. Oh my, the crowd is on their feet. Over 60,000 strong. Carmichael gets a little swirly there, but he saves it.
And Ricky is pushing hard, but it looks like he has the speed.
Oh, he wanted it. He wanted to put the wheel in right there, had to grab the rear brake. His back end slid around, so he drops back another 15 feet. So for Chad Reed, a momentary respite as he can take a quick breath, but Ricky is going to be back on him. We still got 3 full laps to go.
Unbelievable. Ricky Carmichael just on fire.
Has he shown Chad everything, or do you think he's got one last trick or one last line he can show Chad?
Well, it's evident he's got the speed, and in this next line, this corner right here, I was surprised Ricky didn't come out and just steal the line from Chad that last lap around when he made that pass.
And that brings up a good point, Cameron. What if Ricky messes with him on the next lap and takes his line?
Yeah.
Chad now seems to be covering that inside line as they go around Jeremy McGrath, who's been lapped. I hate to say that, but it's just good to have Jeremy here. Here's where Ricky's been really pushing right in this corner, and he's moved back up again.
And you see Chad sliding just a little bit coming out of that corner. I think that at this point, Ricky Carmichael's ready to make a real dive. This is where he made the pass earlier, and look at him going to the inside and just takes
it again. Carmichael steals the line, unable to keep the momentum up, and he gets the pass. Chad Reed, does he have anything left for Ricky Carmichael? You've got the defending champ and the all-time winningest AMA rider doing battle in Atlanta. Who will it be, Carmichael or Reed?
Well, Carmichael definitely showing, hey, I got this, coming by same section, takes him wide, giving him the same lesson twice. You don't want to have that happen to you. That is going to upset Chad Reed, though. Let's see if he can build a fire and make a chase here.
Ricky Carmichael rode all week at his home track with Matt Walker, the Kawasaki rider in the 125 class, and I talked to Matt Walker. He said Ricky was angry all week long, pushed me to the limit, put in over 160 laps on his track. So Carmichael locking things down around his pit, focusing entirely on this race, Cameron, because if Chad comes back and wins this race, that's really going to start putting some things in Ricky's head. But if Ricky can pull away and win this, it's going to make a statement.
Well, speaking of pulling away, right now that gap getting bigger for Ricky Carmichael. And actually David Billiman's mechanic cheering on Chad Reed, trying to give him some momentum. But right now, if Ricky doesn't make a mistake, he's in command. He has so much space. Oh, look at yellow flags.
Lap rider. David Billiman in the whoops there, stalled out, gets it running again. So that's a great break for Carmichael. His next lap rider will be Heath, Voss, number 13, about 100 yards ahead of him. Unbelievable, folks. If you're Supercross fans, stand up and rejoice. The white flag is out in Atlanta. Ricky Carmichael starting to pull away from Chad Reed. Let's check it quickly with Jamie.
Hey, Michael Byrne injured his wrist in the whoop section. He says it's okay. He got back up, but he did pull out. Andrew Short went down. He's okay. And David Billman just went down in the same spot. He's again okay, guys.
All right, back to racing action. Half a lap to go, and Ricky Carmichael has extended his lead, Cameron, to more than 30 yards. It's about 2.5
mistake, RC's going to claim Atlanta.
Well, 1 week off of winning for Ricky Carmichael seemed to send him into absolute turmoil. He was still cheery and happy to talk to people around the track, but you could tell that he meant business. And when I asked him, he said he was upset about the way it went last week.
No whip for Carmichael. He will not take a chance. Your winner, Atlanta, Georgia, Ricky Carmichael, your champion. Unbelievable performance with Chad Reed pulling up next to him in quite possibly the best race we've seen all year. They touch hands and they respect each other, no question about it. Certainly giving the fans what they want as Kevin Wyndham brings it through, and that is third place. Folks, I'll tell you what, you couldn't have asked for a better battle, especially after what happened last week in San Diego, Cameron.
I couldn't agree more, and Ricky Carmichael is so impressive. Yes, he crashes, but he gets up, the fortitude. He is on it, gets back up there, passes Chad in the same exact spot.
We'll have some great interviews when we return to the Georgia Dome. The 250 main in the books. Carmichael's your winner. Stick around and find out just how he did it.
Every race.
We welcome you back inside the Georgia Dome, where everyone has caught their breath after what was an exciting, and that is to say it mildly, 250 main event, a great battle between Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed. As we take a look at our Honda 250 main official results, it's Carmichael with the win, followed by Chad Reed, Kevin Wyndham in third, Sebastian Tortelli rebounding nicely for fourth, and Mike LaRocco once again a top 5 finish. Tim Ferry also a good finish at 11th place. We welcome him back. But right now, let's send it down to the podium. That's where Jamie Little is standing by with K-Dub.
Well, Kevin Wyndham finds himself on the podium for the 5th time this season. Kevin, we got to ask you, we have you on tape, you and Carmichael, what happened when he came up and put the pass on you?
Well, I'd like to see it too. It's kind of when I was out there racing, you know, I heard him come up the inside, so I darted off to the inside, which was where the hot line was there, and felt the pressure underneath me, and we hooked, you know, and I kind of just pushed all the way out to the outside bail. So, you know, it's racing, and I know what to expect from him now, and, you know, if I'm ever in the position, I guess we'll have to try that maneuver on him. But he rode a great race tonight, and, you know, did what he had to do to get up there and win, especially after the crash. So, you know, I know Chad's bummed about that, and I'm just steadily trying to inch up there and get back with those guys. They kind of have the upper hand on me now, and we have a long time left to go in the season, and glad to be up here pain-free and keep my CRF Honda 450 on the podium and on 2 wheels.
All right, Kevin Wyndham turning 27 Monday. Happy birthday.
Thanks a lot.
It's now time for your Nissan Turning Point. You got to give it to Ricky Carmichael. If it's good once, it's good twice. On the same spot, he pushes Chad Reed out and takes over the lead, and that is your Nissan Turning Point. The fans loved it. Let's send it down to Jamie Little with a guy who probably did not like it.
Chad Reed gives us the battle of the year so far. Chad, unbelievable from the beginning. Take us through, though, back and forth. I don't even know how many different lead changes there were.
No, I'm finding it hard to put it into words. It's so frustrating. I had it given to me, you know, and just didn't take advantage of it, and that's painful.
What about the one section in the track? Ricky passed you twice there. What would you have done differently?
I was just really struggling to turn on the inside. He was just riding a much more aggressive race. He was being aggressive with it. The track was really slippery, and he was just being really aggressive and forcing the bike to turn, and I just wasn't riding aggressive enough, and that's what lost the race tonight. You know, I felt good everywhere else, just didn't attack the track like I should have.
It looked good from our perspective, Chad, but there's always next week. We'll see you there.
Yeah, next week, and you know, and just give a shout out to my good friends at Parts and Women's Oil, and AMSOIL, Scott, Bridgestone. The guys at Yamaha, you know, they do a great job, and we'll fight back next week.
Tonight's action is all the incentive you need to join us in Las Vegas, May 7th, the official destination of Supercross. We take a look at the THQ World Supercross GP points with Carmichael on top, and then on the THQ AMA side, Carmichael by 32. Let's check in with Jamie with RC.
Well, Ricky had it, and then he didn't have it, and then he ends up having it and taking it home. Ricky, the battle of the year, like I said, to Chad Reed. First of all, tell us the mistake you made early on.
Well, I was able to get by Chad, and, you know, I was being really patient and just, you know, waiting for the time to come, and I wasn't being aggressive enough and really getting in there and making that move, and I did. Got back and was trying to get some breathing room, and I just tucked my front end. I really didn't feel confident with my front end all night long, and it got me right after the finish line, so I was like, damn. Got back up and had my work cut out for me after that.
Now, you were doing some things differently on the track from the other riders, especially through the whoops. We don't usually see you just jumping in and jumping out.
Yeah, you know, you could blitz them or jump through them, and it was a good variety. So, and you didn't have to follow one guy, so I think it helped us out with the lappers quite a bit, and I was able to get through them pretty good, and I had a bunch of different lines other than the whoop-de-doos, taking a couple inside lines, and it really helped me out, and I had to, you know, get a little aggressive with my passes. It wasn't like high speed or anything, just kind of coasties, you know, but I hate to race like that, but sometimes there's tracks out there and that you have to do that. But I had a good time tonight racing Chad and, of course, Kevin for a little bit, and just really happy for the win.
Well, it's great for all your friends and family that turned out, 180 of them, and the entire stadium was on their feet. Todd?
Our next show comes to you from St. Louis, Missouri, the Edward Jones Dome, March 6, 2005, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cameron?
Well, unbelievable night by Ricky Carmichael, just showing everybody what was up, and hey, you can check out more about what goes on here at supercross.cc.com and check out Supercross live anytime.
For Jamie Little and Cameron Steele, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from Atlanta. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner, Ricky Carmichael.